Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. It's morning for me. It's 10 a.m. Pacific time, so I'm way over, way over on an island off the west coast of Vancouver on Vancouver Island. So if you're here, tell me what you're drinking and where you're from. I love to know where people are from. When I'm working as a nurse, I'm always like, tell me where you're from because a ton of people from the prairies move out here or they come and visit in the winter, which is crazy because it's like super dark here and rainy. And on the prairies, it's like light and sunny, even though it's like freezing cold. But I have my tea. I think this is Stormwatcher from Murchie's. I need to do another order because I am behind, friends. Let me just make sure I've got the right microphone. Oh, yeah. No, that's right. I got the right microphone selected. So I'm so excited you're here. Elisa, Kim, hello. Letter ladies, good morning. I hope everybody had a great weekend. MJ from California. I hope wherever you are in California that you're safe. Scary watching all of those fires and everything. Oh my gosh. The devastation. There's been so many natural disasters this year. It's awful. Drinking water. I also have water. I have tea and water. I like to be hydrated and good for you guys. New Hampshire, north of Boston. I would love to go there in the fall. We don't get a lot of fall colors here. And Wisconsin, hello. Maureen. Oh my gosh, everybody's here. I'm so excited. Well, welcome. Today I want to talk about sort of 3 steps you can take to completely make over your home. And we just finished up a challenge where I took people through my mighty method. And I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today because this is a new method that I developed and that I didn't even realize I had been doing it all along, but I finally just put it into wrote it down, put it into practice, and realized like, yes, this is mighty. I always say like, stay tidy and mighty when we're leaving, and or when I'm leaving. Hello, Lindsay. And Glenna's here, a nurse from Ohio. It's gorgeous in the fall. I bet. I'm so glad you're safe, MJ. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's interesting because we're all so busy. So I appreciate you coming in to hang out with me. And I just love getting together. And I know that life can be so chaotic. And I know for me, it feels like that too, quite often. And it's nice when we can come together to chat and to problem solve. And I love to just share how people can take control of their house because it is where you live. This is a very important thing in your life. And I think people don't realize it. People realize, yes, my home is important, but I don't think they realize how important it is on a really deep level. And my opinion is that we talk about food, water, and shelter, and we need food to stay alive. We need water to stay alive. We need shelter. We need a roof over our heads. We need to have our, temperature somewhat controlled to be safe and alive and all of these things. Meanwhile, I think a lot of us miss the fact that what we're surrounding ourselves with, what we're looking at day in, day out, has a big impact on us and on our brains. And there have been so many studies that have shown that women in particular are affected by their environment. And for me, when I was about, well, let's see, 6 or 7 years ago, I would get home from the emergency department and just be like, like, first of all, the things we're dealing with there it's very upsetting. It's very sad. Like, it's awful. And you would get home and you would just want to like snuggle your kids, snuggle your husband, just sort of like collapse and hang out with your family. And instead, I would be met with mess and piles and frustration. And my husband, who either if he was home that day, because we're both shift workers, if he was home, I'd be like, okay, well, why is the house messy? Meanwhile, he would have been hanging out with the kids. And then there'd be days where he'd be like cleaning. And I'm like, why are you ignoring the kids? And I was frustrated because like the house, it just felt impossible to get clean. And then I learned that women are more affected by clutter than men. And it's not that my husband isn't affected because he likes that now we have got control of our house. We have done a makeover. We decluttered so much. We still declutter. When we bring stuff in, we always make sure that we're getting rid of stuff. But it's such a major thing in life if you can take control of your home, because this is where you're hanging your hat. This is where you're spending your time. Even if you're out of the house all day and you come home, this should be a place that soothes you, that supports you, it's like your house is just like wrapping its arms around you and it's like you're home and I'm going to take care of you. And you may end up coming through the door and seeing like piles of things. Maybe you've got boxes piled up at the door and there's papers and there's mail that hasn't been dealt with, and your closet where your coats are is just jam packed of stuff and it's hard to find what you need, and the seasons change and you're like, oh my goodness, like, where's my spring coat or whatever, or where's my raincoat, depending on the kind of weather you deal with. And then you go into the kitchen and you're like, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to make dinner in here? There's just stuff everywhere. And is that still dishes from last night? So my thought is, wouldn't it be lovely for you if instead you can get home and you're like, hmm, the house is tidy and it smells fresh, and you go in the kitchen and it's clean. The counters are clean after work. And you're like, I can make dinner really easily because it's just like a blank canvas. And even if you hate cooking, you're like, I can throw something together easily. And then it's a breeze to clean up. Your family, if you live with other people, they know exactly what to do. Everything works well together. And you then can relax together after dinner and have like a really great game of Monopoly or Trivial Pursuit Harry Potter. And if I could play it with you, I would win. But I think that that's something that a lot of people are like, yeah, that sounds nice, but not very doable. And that's why I feel like it's so important that we address this now. You have a finite number of days, just like I do. And I think it's really important where we're spending our time. Your home has such a huge impact on your mental health. Shay, you can't hear me. Can others hear me? Shay says she can't hear me. And hello to everybody else that's here. Connie from Toronto. I'm just making sure my microphone's on. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. But anyway, so often people, especially in January, and I'm going to share something, they're like, I am going to take control of my house this year. I'm going to organize, or I'm going to get rid of a little bit of stuff. But the problem is, a lot of times people are not going about it the right way. So I'm going to share with you my mighty method. And thank you guys. I'm glad you can hear me. And so my mighty method, yay, Randy. He said, neat freak minimalist. But I think the problem that a lot of people run into, and there's this app called Strava. And funny enough, I just got a notice that I bought a Strava app yesterday. It turns out it was my teenage son who lives in Vancouver who's still on my Apple account. And that's fine because he just hiked a mountain and prayed at the top of the mountain at like 6 a.m. So I was like, okay, I will buy your app. But anyway, so Strava has this thing where they did a study and they realized a lot of people quit their goals right around now. In fact, usually a lot of people quit their goals by the second Friday in January, which was last Friday. And I think that's a very interesting phenomenon. And I think the problem is people get really excited about making these goals and they're like, "Yes, I'm going to change. I'm tired of living with this mess." And they start and they're not exactly sure where to start, but good for them, they do start. And in some cases, they don't because they're paralyzed by indecision. But the problem is they're not doing it the right way. They're thinking, okay, I just need to organize, or they're thinking, I just need more storage solutions. I just need to do like one big decluttering day. And that would be like deciding I'm going to like run a marathon after, not really doing much for the last year or two. Oh, that's great. Kelsey uses it to make sure that her kid is actually walking. I love it. So Strava is it's an app that helps you track your exercise. I'm just using their example because they did the study and they called that day that people quit Quitters Day. And I know you don't want to be a quitter. And I hate that term. And I don't like the judgmentalness that comes with it, because the problem is we are just quite often tackling things wrong. And for me, I used to be like, I just need to go through the toys. I used to just think I just need to go through my kids' toys. And that's what I would do. And I would stack them up. There's this charity organization here in Canada called Canadian Diabetes, and they'll come and take away your stuff. And I had the toys stacked in the front entranceway for like a couple of weeks while we were waiting for it to be picked up. And because I thought the kids' toys were the problem. First of all, I always say don't ever start with other people's stuff, but also, we need to approach it the right way. So often, like I said, people think they just need to organize, or they're like, I'm going to do Marie Kondo, which is great for like sentimental things. But I don't think Marie Kondo is good when we're going through the rest of it. And so, part of the 3 steps of my Mighty Method, the first is that we are going to assess. And I call this the triage step, because as an emergency nurse, we need to triage. We need to see what the heck is going on. You can't come into the emergency department and say, oh, my stomach hurts. And we'll be like, oh, well, let's take out your appendix, even though we don't really know what's wrong. So we need to triage. We need to know what's wrong. We need to address what's wrong first and tackle it in a methodical way. So when we're doing the triage, we're like, okay, so what's wrong here? How does this stuff end up here? Why is it not leaving? How is this affecting me? How is this affecting my kids? How is this affecting my husband? How are we managing this space? So, and we're also looking for something really big, and that is time and energy leaks, where I don't know about you, but I am busy and I don't want to lose any time or energy that I can't afford to lose. I want to lose that stuff where I want to lose it. I want to use it. I want to spend time with my family and doing things that I need to do and want to do. Well, there's a very handsome man that just showed up. My husband just came home. Okay. So the next step, so that's the first step, triage. The second step is to simplify. That is the decluttering phase. So that is where everybody's like, oh, okay, great. I can do that. Don't get stuck though, because here's the thing. If you skip the triage step, if you don't do it properly, you may end up very quickly not knowing what to do. And then you start going like, why am I doing this in the first place? Or you're like, I'm not really sure what's wrong. Or maybe you start in the wrong spot. Or you think, oh, I'm just going to like go in the storage room. Meanwhile, it's like, but what is really affecting you worse? And so for me, I like to say, which room is right there out in the open bugging me? And then how can I have like a quick win? And how can I approach this in a good way? So that is the second step, is to simplify. And then what you can do is continue going. But the third step that is so important is the thrive step. They're all equally important, but both the triage and the thrive step get skipped so often. And the thrive step is where we are creating systems that make our home stay clean. It makes everything flow really well. It's like clockwork. And it may sound really like constraining, but these are actually wonderful systems and routines that help your life stay on track. They help your house stay clean. And an example of that, and these are easy things that you can just quickly layer on up and up, and then your house can stay home. Good morning from Sydney, Australia. Must be nighttime, I'm guessing. But anyway, so one of like an example of some of the routines that I have in my house, some systems are in the morning, because I have teenagers. So while they're getting themselves ready and they're moping around and, lamenting the fact that they're awake, I am just quickly scurrying around, picking things up and putting things back where they go, or setting things for my husband on the stairs that he can take upstairs, or the kids that they can take around. I am just making sure everything is tidy. And I know some people are like, oh, like I shouldn't have to do that. If you want to live in a clean house, that's what you're going to need to do. One of my things that I do is, like, if I see a sock on the ground, it just goes in the laundry space closet, because I don't want to be looking at it. I don't want that stressing me out. And the other thing is that I like to do, we have many little systems and routines that keep things going. But before bed, I wipe the counters and I put stuff away. Now, if you hate doing stuff like that, I have the answer for myself. I don't know if it worked for you, but that's my AirPods. I will put on a podcast or even just listen to the Bible or whatever and just do what I'm doing. And then it is so, so much easier. Let me look here. Triage. I'd say you diagnosed us properly. Yes. I love it. It's true. And so the problem is a lot of people, and we just did this challenge. And for those of you who are in my challenge, I want to say to you, did you do the thrive step? Because quite often we do the triage. We're like, okay, I think I want to work on this space, and that's great. And you're like, okay, like I think I know what this problem is. And then they declutter and they're like, yay, I did it. I'm done. I'm gonna carry on and do the rest of the house by myself. And I'm like, great. However, did you do the thrive step? How are you going to keep that space clean? If it's the end of your counter, what is going to keep that spot from getting messy? Is it that there's a rule that nobody puts stuff down? And then on top of that rule, who is going to enforce it and maybe just still sort of come and be the little fairy that picks things up to make sure that it stays clean? Because it's very easy, I shouldn't say easy. Well, it is kind of in a way to get really motivated and really excited to make progress and to do the decluttering and be like, yeah. And then to be like, I figure out we'll just keep it clean, right? Without actually having a method to do it and without having a routine. And then you are right back where you started a year from now saying, this is the year where I'm going to get my house clean, 2026. Meanwhile, it's like, don't you want to have it done in 2025? Don't you want to get your house clean? Lindsay says the system makes so much sense because I have no system. The system is the key. Everything is random and then it just doesn't get done because I'm running on the same autopilot I've been doing for years. Yes, that's the thing, right? Is we just think, "Oh, okay, like I'm just going to make this work." But it's so important to have that system for that long-term success and so you can just keep your house clean. And the main thing is, like, the whole point of this is that you're not having to think about keeping your house clean all the time. That is not what our life should be about. Your house should be supporting you, not the other way around. You shouldn't be always trying to manage your stuff and moving stuff around just for so you can clean. I've started to always do the washing up then and there, whatever happens before bedtime. I think that's great. And one of the things that I do now is like if there's a big pot, I'm gonna wash that right now. I just want to get it out of the way. Keeping the kitchen clean, keeping the sink clean. If I can do it within less than a minute or two, I'm going to. And the funniest thing is, how often is it where we're like, oh, I'll do that later? And it truly is something that is just so easy to do. And it's little things like that that keep your house clean. And also like writing things down and keeping lists. And I know some people they really don't like lists or they really resist it. I love it. And a big thing too is like starting small. One thing at a time, one little thing at a time. And I know that you might be like, "Oh gosh, like I don't know how to do that." Well, I opened up my Tidy Mighty Club just this past weekend. And right now, if you sign up, if you sign up before Wednesday night at 8, although I would suggest signing up right now, you will save 1 month. You'll get 1 month for free if you sign up for the monthly option. But if you sign up for the annual option, and if your house is in need of a lot of work, you might want to do that one. If you sign up for the annual option, then you will save 2 months for free, and that's if you sign up before, Wednesday evening, but get on it, because if you're like, "Oh, that sounds really good. Yeah, I'm gonna try that," or if you keep like, I love that people come on here and they watch my videos and they get inspired, but if you've been trying to do this for more than a couple of months, I think you might want to try something else. You might want to try something a little more intensive. And this is a very inexpensive program. I tried to make it as accessible as possible because I want people to be able to have a tidy and clean home that supports them. I'm so passionate about us simplifying life and not just like your stuff but so much like your schedule and your commitments and being sure that with the exception of a couple of family members that everybody that you're hanging around with is like lifting you up and just creating a happier and healthier life through simplifying. And that's why I started this. And I've had courses and things before, but I wanted to make something super duper accessible and affordable. So that's why you can head over there. It's $15 a month. Uh, and if you sign up right now, by Wednesday, but do it today so you don't forget, then you'll save a month. So your first month is free. You won't get charged for a month. unless you sign up for the year, but then you save 2 whole months. Kelsey says, I love lists. And Lisa says she chose to invest in herself for once. And that's the thing. I feel like as women, so often we're like, oh no, well, there's this or there's that, or my kids need braces. And I love, like, you're investing in yourself. You're taking care of your home, and taking care of your home is taking care of you and is taking care of everybody else in the home, because we all can benefit from being in a clean home, a home that is supporting us. And that is just, imagine in the morning. I don't know what it's like for you right now, but in the morning when you come down, what is it like? What greets you? What, first of all, even what greets you in your bedroom? Like, wouldn't it be nice to wake up and maybe the sun is streaming through your windows? For me, I have blackout blinds because here in Canada in the summer, it stays like light out super late. Certainly don't need that right now, but maybe the sun is streaming on your face and you look around and you're like, oh, like there's nothing I don't want on the dressers. Every surface is clear. You go in the bathroom, you have everything has its spot. Your skin moisturizer for the morning, and then for the evening, it's all there. Everything is neat and tidy. And then you open up your closet, it's not jammed shut. Everything is organized. All of the shirts are where they should be, and it's easy to pick out what you want. And then you go downstairs and you can just sit with a cup of coffee and just enjoy being in a clean room. You can look outside and your kitchen counters are clean. They're not sticky. There's nothing there's nothing sitting around. There's no like random, like a screw, like, sitting there, or an old battery or papers and receipts you don't know what to do with. All of it is just so tidy and inviting and warm. And it's a good way to start your day. Even if you work from home or you stay at home, it's a good way to be. This is supporting you. It's supporting your nervous system and everything. So I highly, highly would suggest you join us. It's going to be so fun. And here's the structure, I'll tell you. I went over the 3 steps, the triage, the simplify, the thrive. And that is what we're doing within this membership. And so the membership is a Facebook group. And I know you might be like, I hate Facebook. I mean, I don't love Facebook either, but it's a good spot for a group, because I'm in other things. Like I'm in things in Circle and in Kajabi, and it's just harder for people to access. It's harder to remember. So for now, until there's like an actual better solution, that's where I'm going to be. But it's a Facebook group, and on there every month we're going to do a particular room. And if you have, triaged your house and we're starting with something small just to finish off this month. Plus, we're doing a time audit so you can see where your time is going. But in February, starting in just a few weeks, we're doing the kitchen. Now, if you're like, oh, my kitchen is great, it's decluttered, I don't need to do anything, I have systems, everything's fine. You can do something else at the same time. But we're starting with the kitchen because I feel like that is one of the biggest high impact spots for your house. And so the first week, we are going to do a big old triage assessment. You are going to figure out exactly what is bugging you, what section needs to be tackled first. You're going to figure out like who is contributing what. Like, keep in mind, the first month is free, so you might be getting that. But then week 2, we're going to simplify. And that is where the decluttering comes in. We're going to thin out every area that you have identified as an issue. And this is very like personalized, but at the same time, you're doing it with a group. So we can support you within the actual Facebook membership. And I'm telling you, our challenge is just slowly coming to an end. People are loving the Facebook group. They're so supportive. They're loving to see each other's successes. And here's the best part. So the next week is when we're creating our systems. We're thriving. We're figuring out how we're going to keep it clean. We're going to, for the kitchen, you might want to work on a meal plan. You might want to work on some chores for the family, or even if it's just you or just you and your husband, when are you going to do stuff? And the thing that I love is from that, people are going to share what systems they're doing. We're going to create a systems bank. So you can look at that bank and be like, oh, I love that system. And you could look up kitchen and in a few months you could look up bedroom or whatever, and you can pick what works for you. And when I keep saying systems and routines, it's it's very easy, simple things that we're slowly adding in, because we're just doing it 1 month at a time, and it's going to start to become kind of a rhythm in your life, that we're just working through this together so you can get control of your house. Um, and then there is a monthly Zoom call. So, unlike this, which I love to come on and chat with you guys, but we can only see me. I want to see you. I want to see your faces. And I'm so excited for the people that are there, because I love when we come together, and I love when we chat and we can sit together and have a cup of tea and hang out and support each other. You can ask me questions. I can give you personalized advice. You can come on in and you can share your successes, share your struggles, and we will all support each other. And I just finished up group coaching in the fall, and this is different because this is much more accessible as a membership. But they loved coming in and seeing that other people were just like them and had similar struggles. And what's great is when you talk it out, so often you find a solution, and other people give solutions. It's absolutely lovely. I just absolutely love it. My problem is that I don't like have okay, so this I love that you asked this question, mindset on Jesus with Jessica, because yes, people, they don't want a strict routine. I like to be able to choose what I do with my day. Totally. But think about it this way. And yes, you can use this to re- reclaim your space. I end up with a bigger mess to clean, and it takes more time. Think about your routine as just a very loose structure, almost like your skeleton, right? Your bones, they're there and they are supporting your whole body. If you did not have your skeleton, you would just literally be a pile of flesh on the ground. And it's the same as if you had were to go bowling. Like, if you've ever taken little kids bowling and they have like the bumpers that they'll put up at the side, it just keeps the ball. Like, I mean, these children, they take this, so it's so the ball doesn't go in the gutter. And these kids, they take the ball and they walk up and they like drop it, and it'll just slowly roll. um or but it doesn't the ball does not go in the gutter. So even if you the point is that the routine, it's like that, those bumpers, it just keeps you going down. It keeps your ball on the alley. It keeps you on track. And they can actually be a form of freedom and a form of comfort. It's like, for me, like waking up and brushing my teeth in the morning, that's an example of a routine, of a system. Brushing my teeth at night, that's an example of a routine, of a system. It keeps it so that my mouth is clean, so I don't have to, you know, a couple years down the road end up with like raging gingivitis and having to have like oral surgery. This is just sort of a way to keep your house clean. How are you going to keep your fridge clean? And so when you go through these decluttering stages, as so many people do, where a couple of times a year they're like, oh, I'm going to work on this area, or I'm going to have my like one big decluttering day. Instead, no, you have this routine that keeps you going, because instead of going, oh, I'm going to have like this big decluttering day, and then falling off track and ending up right back where you were and not having that success, this keeps you on track. And that is why I am such a lover of routines, because I like to be flexible too. And I mean, nobody's going to be like watching you, making sure you're doing your routines or deciding what your routines are. This is your way. I will show you how to develop routines, because I just feel like they are just so valuable in giving us freedom. Routines are freedom. Emily says, I think time audits are challenging. How should I tackle this? Time audits can be an issue. And I have the very first video that I have for this particular week that's in the membership ready to go for you, is a time audit video, aside from a tour of the platform. But they're good because they help you to see where your time is going, because so many people, they say, I don't have time to get on top of my stuff, or I don't have time to exercise or to cook well or all of this. And it's like, but where's your time going? Me, I consider myself a really busy person, and yet I still have a little bit of time at the end of the night. I certainly find time to scroll on my phone. And there's actually an app I'm going to share with the group that I've done before, which helps you track your time. And it's annoying. I'm not going to lie. A time audit is annoying, but it's very valuable to know where you're doing it. And you only need to do it for a day or two, 3 days max if you want to. How to stick to a routine when having very good, very bad days? That's a good question, and I think that's why it's important that when we're developing our routines is to do them very slowly so that you're not even realizing it. And it's not the end of the world if you don't do it, right? Like for me, um, maybe like last week, I probably missed one day or 2, like, picking up in the morning or the evening, and, the next day it's a little bit more, but I'm back on track. So, I think it's definitely very, very helpful. Will we have body doubling in the group? I think that is a great idea, and I would like to do that. I actually I had a good friend over last night, and she also has ADHD, and we were talking about body doubling and, how valuable it is. And I think there are other people in the group who are neurodivergent that I think would benefit from that and like it. So yes, I think that is something that we will probably start pretty soon. Um, and yeah, so I think that it's very important to realize that when we're doing something, anything, we need some kind of a strategy when we're making a big change, especially when we often keep failing. Like I said, if you've been trying to tackle the clutter in your home for more than 3 months, personally, like, and I'm saying and having very little success, personally, I think that means now's the time to deal with it. Like, we're not getting any younger here, and your home is important. Where you live, the way you live is very important, and your health truly is on the line when it comes to the fact that our environment is stressful. If our environment is stressful, it increases our stress, it increases our cortisol, and that really, really puts you at risk for a lot of things. It increases your risk for things like cancer, which is crazy to believe, but it is. Increases your blood pressure, it can increase atherosclerosis. Stress is one of the number one things that it's shocking how much it impacts us. So this is a really important thing that I feel like your home, the status of your home, I think can often be a really good indicator of how your overall health is as far as like mental health goes, I think. And that's just my guess. But I think that for me, if my house is starting to get messy, I probably haven't looked at my finances for a while. I'm probably not eating as well. And I think it's just really important. And I love what Kelsey says. I have really significant fluctuations between good days and bad days. And one important thing for me is giving myself grace and reminding myself that I'm not a slave to the routine. It's there for you. Exactly. Absolutely so true. And that's one of the things that I am going to be bringing up in our group is grace. And I was trying to figure out a way of saying it like strength through grace or something. I can't remember, but I feel like it's just so important that we're um firm with ourselves and saying like, no, I am doing this. I am taking control of my life. Enough's enough. I'm tired. I'm not starting another year like this. And at the same time, where we are having a bad day, and we just say, hey, I'm actually going to just relax. I'm not going to worry about that. We're having cereal for dinner, or we're having like the other night I was tired, and I said, because it was my husband was working and my other son was working, and the other one lives in Vancouver right now, and I was like, tuna sandwich. I said, do you want a tuna melt or a tuna sandwich? He wanted a tuna melt, and I was like, perfect. Honestly, whatever. And I just had a like bag from Costco, a bag of salad from Costco, and threw some tuna on it because I was like, nope, it's okay. Like, we need to have grace with ourselves. And the problem with a lot of us too is we get stuck in perfectionism. That's one of the other things that keeps us up in this perpetual loop of starting and stopping and then feeling like a failure, and then starting and stopping and then feeling like a failure. Um, Time check has made me realize I need to do a weekly meal plan and online shop. Yes. So haphazard. Yes. And I love the app that I use, Plan to Eat. They sponsored me in November. They're awesome for planning your meals. And that's the other thing is like, if you just sit there, like I will just sit like watching YouTube, and I will just plan out my meals, and it just makes it so easy because that little bit of time up front saves you so much time in the end, and then you have meals, and you're not like sitting there going like, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to eat for dinner? What's in the pantry? Can I see in the pantry because it's so messy?" So, yeah, I invite you. Come on in, join us. Remember, the first month's for free right now if you sign up for the monthly plan, and it's only $15 a month. If you're Canadian, check out there is a code because our economy is awful and the government keeps introducing new taxes that don't help anybody. um, and yeah, I think that, and also if you sign up for the annual rate, if you're like, I just want to like really dial in and get my whole house done, I highly suggest you do that if you're interested in that, and you get 2 months for free. And so just sign up before Wednesday. The doors will stay open, but this is your opportunity to save the money now because you know this is the year where you want to get things under control. So ask me any questions, you guys. Any questions about anything? It doesn't have to just be about the Tidy Mighty Club, which I hope you join. It's going to be so fun. I will tell you a little story that, and actually Lindsay, she can, oh, I was going to say, so there are some bonuses. And one of them, and Coach Lindsay, who's here, she's a relationship coach. She has a full masterclass for how to talk to your spouse, and this would also work for other family members, about how to get control of or how to communicate your needs better. And maybe like you're like, I have so often have people that are like, but my husband, she's going to help you with that. And it is a fantastic masterclass all about that. She is a group or a relationship coach web or expert. I was going to say webinar extraordinaire. She's amazing. So that's one of the bonuses. The Facebook group is a bonus. The Zoom calls, it's all going to be so good. Oh, Lori says, I'm at my mom's who passed in November. I took 30 bags to the dump today. Good for you. I have 30 more bags to donate. Just found a broken H2 pump. Oh, that is so hard, Lori. I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry I missed your message so far back. Yeah, that's really hard. I'm old now, so I'm taking care of myself by enjoying your life right now. I agree, Randy. Totally. Old screws, batteries, receipts. Were you in my house? Right. Why are there old batteries everywhere? It's so true. So a system for the batteries. What I did, I was like, I'm tired of these batteries. Here's one example. And so when I talk about systems and routines, it's not all of these things you have to do. It's not this long to-do list. One thing, throw a jar under your kitchen sink so you can just drop the batteries in there. And then when it's full, you can take it to the recycling place. Like that is an idea. How do you triage a studio apartment? Well, what you do is you step back and you say, okay, what is the worst area? What area is impacting me the most? What area is stressing me out the most? Which area is making it hard for me to do what I need to do? Or when I go to cook in the morning, what is getting in my way? And you decide which of those areas is stressing you out the most. And then you hone in. Okay, so what is the problem here? Where is this coming from? What could I get rid of first? And you just start thinking it through. Because for me, when I'm tackling something, just having an idea. So say you're like, okay, so I'm triaging it after a day or two. Then you're like, okay, now I'm going to simplify. You've already been percolating on that for a couple of days. It's given your brain a bit of time to understand, okay, we're making some change. It's also given your brain a little bit of time to get used to the idea. Your subconscious might not feel so threatened because quite often our subconscious is super threatened when we are trying to make any changes. So the slower we go, the better. And the better your chances of are having success. So then you simplify. So that's how you would triage it at first. Then you'd simplify and thrive, making those systems. And Cindy, a child of light, says, I really don't enjoy deciding what to make for dinner. Right? Did you ever see Aretha Franklin? Somebody saw she was a bit older at this point, but they said, like, "What's your biggest stress?" And she said, "Deciding what to make for dinner every day." And I was like, "That is so relatable." Amelie says, "Perfectionism is the opposite of joy." And it's a complete myth. We can't be perfect. We are human. It is impossible to be perfect. So don't waste your time trying to be perfect. Don't waste your time trying to start in the perfect spot. Like we are triaging, but there's multiple reasons for that, as I said. And we are going to dive in and we're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to make a change and make our life so much better. So I was going to say that just the other day on our local Facebook group, somebody shared that there were two cougars not far from my house, like a couple kilometers away. And I was sharing with our Facebook group that um with our group challenge group, I said like we are the cougar capital of the world. And it's not like when I say we're the cougar capital that there's like cougars on every corner, like hanging out, smoking cigarettes, like roughing people up. There just are a lot. And I live in the forest and I have a can of bear spray because if I go for a walk, I'm like, I've never seen a cougar, but I'm sure many have seen me. How does one know when one has become a minimalist? Well, you don't, I think for me personally, and Elisa, who's here, who just commented, mediocrity is my new standard. She helped coin the phrase minimalist light. And that's me. I have a lot of hobbies. Like I just like on my other channel now, it's a food cooking channel. I'm cooking. So I've got a food blog, which means there's a little bit more photography equipment. Like I'm a person, I've got hobbies. I've got gardening stuff, but I only keep what I use. And I like to have it tidy and organized and put away. I don't like stuff left out because I want to feel good. I want to feel not stressed. And even at Christmas, some of you may see that I'm not as minimalist at Christmas. I do like my trees and things, but my mom, she encouraged me to come and look at some of my grandparents' Christmas stuff. And I took a few things and I set them out and I was like, oh, this is too much, like, so it's what the amount of minimalism for you, Amelie, it might be what makes you feel good. You don't have to. I mean, if you walked into my house, in the 1980s, even now, you might not be like, oh, she's a minimalist. You would say it's tidy because I have gone minimalist late, because we don't have extra stuff. So minimalist for me is more of a personal decision. So what makes you feel like you have the right amount of stuff? And again, I don't think that I don't really believe in keeping things just in case. The only things I think to have just in case are like a fire extinguisher and maybe because I do prep a little bit just because of where I live in the world with earthquakes and whatever. That is my just in case emergency planning. Other than that, not really. All right, let's see. Mediocrity is my new standard. I love that. My kitchen table is a good indicator of how things are going. Right? It's so true. If I'm not doing well, it gets loaded with junk. Totally. I found that meal planning on Sunday, I decide what to make for 4 meals, 3 days for leftovers. Totally. And that's the thing too. So when I use my app, um, it's loose, right? And I can shift things around and I I definitely make room for leftovers and for nights where, it's just me and my youngest hanging out and that will probably I'm not generally going to go crazy here, but so sometimes it might be we don't do cereal really anymore, but when they were younger, sometimes I would. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly. Better done than left to sit until it can't be perfect. It's true. Done is better than perfect. Yes, I love it. And just so you know, guys, like a lot of the people that are here in this chat are already in the group. So we're going to hang out together and it's going to be fun. Like this is going to be a place where we can be supported. And if you've tried things before, nothing against other programs, but this might be the one you need because this one does have the mighty method where we are doing the assessment and the tria, the simplifying and the thriving. And if you've tried those things for a while and they're not working, perhaps the reason why is because you need the right systems. And that's my question to you is if you're having some success right now because it's the beginning of the year or whatever, what is your plan to keep going? And if you're like, then join us. Join us. You have nothing to lose. You can cancel anytime. Nancy says, we're 90% through our stuff. I want to ditch 60% of mine. Good for you, Nancy. Yay. Nancy was in our group coaching program and had inherited stuff from both sets of parents and they have to move. So wonderful. Oh, Susie's here. Hi, Susie. Perfect is in the eye of the beholder. We all differ. Exactly. And I would say minimalist. Like some people would be like, oh, I'm minimalist. And I would be like, are you? Right. But it doesn't matter. It's what you want. The whole point of my channel and my programs and this membership is that you can create the life that you want. I don't want you frustrated with your home anymore. Like, no. And to be honest, I'm going to say, in this membership, my hope is that in a few months, we can encourage each other for other healthy things. Like I really want to, once we get to a certain size, be like, hey, maybe people want to keep each other, like have accountability buddies, even for things like walking or whatever. But ultimately, the main goal is decluttering and minimalism. But, and simplifying your schedule and your life and everything. But I just, as the nurse in me, just wants to help promote people to be super healthy. And I'm really excited for us to have those Zoom calls. I just love them so much. And our first one is this week and it's going to be Friday. And then we'll figure out after that what the schedule is going to be. I need to do some surveys, but yeah. And the right people. That's the other thing about the systems and routines is like keeping keeping your family on board, but I think you might be meaning like our group. And that's the thing is like, it is so encouraging, the people in there right now. Housework, even done imperfectly, still blesses. It's so true. It is so true. Does anybody have any questions? I'm so excited to have shared my 3 tips with you and also to let you know about the membership. It's going to be so fun. It's already fun seeing people show up. And I said, when you sign up, I want you to tell me, a bit about yourself and then your favorite cookie. And Kelsey, who's here, she doesn't like cookies. What? I love cookies. And I have a question for you. I was going to actually ask this at the beginning. What do you prefer? Cookies or cake? I mean, I love them both, but I love cake. Actually, my husband, if I said, what would you, he would say chocolate. And I'm like, I truly still would choose cake. I love cake, the right cake, but most cake is pretty good. But yeah, it's going to be so fun. So fun. So come on over and get in there now because you'll save on the first month if you even just sign up for the monthly. And then if you sign up for the, I did out you. If you sign up for the annual, then you get 2 months for free. And I'm so sorry, Lila Leela, but it is just on Facebook. And I said before, I'll explain it again because I totally like, let me tell you something. I'm no Facebook apologist, but the reason for Facebook is because so many people are on it and it's a way the whole point of this group is that people have huge success and that it is a thriving, active community. And I myself am in other memberships on Circle, for example, or Kajabi, and they're just, you have to remember to go and check it. And I think that it's just harder for people to be active. And I really ultimately want to see people having like major success. So you could do what Coach Lindsay, who was on this call, and she has done. She only is on Facebook for groups, for memberships. She doesn't, I don't even like, we're not even friends on Facebook. We're like very good friends in real life, but on Facebook, we're not. She only goes on it for groups. So you could treat it that way. Meanwhile, like a lot of other people, they're on it anyway. So they'll see the posts all the time. So that's why I really, really, really deliberated. And one day, maybe if there's a better option come up, we'll move it. And one day at a time says make an alias account. Totally. You can do that too. I'm not going to lie. I have a couple of Facebook accounts. One of them is just to sell things on Marketplace. So yeah, like That is an option. I understand if people like politically they don't like it, but it's sort of like if it stops you from doing this, which will make a great change in your life, I personally am like, I would maybe bite the bullet for a year. Um, this is what Lindsay says, Coach Lindsay. True story. I don't use my full name and it's a pic of her cat. Yep. True story. Okay, let's see. Let us eat cake, Elisa says. Yes. I don't like cake either. Okay, so I was going to say my favorite thing to make, and I love baking. I love making pie, and I love a pie, especially blueberry. What's your favorite kind of pie, you guys? I'm all blueberry. Brownies, cookies, chocolate chip. Yes. You're gonna have to join our membership, Nancy, because I ask, and you're a cookies person. I love cookies too. My problem is I forget to check because I'm not active there. See, that's the thing. And that's why I chose Facebook because more people are active on Facebook than aren't. You know what I mean? Like if I did a membership on something like Circle, even more people would forget to check it. But there will be like a weekly digest that I'll be sending out to remind you. So that would remind you to check. So that is sort of like solves that. I'm not going to have I don't think there will be links to the videos, but I will let you know sort of like what has happened and then you can go in and see. And it's organized. It's not like a chaotic Facebook group. I have it organized in like each month will have its own there's guides. It's called guides. And when you get in there, there's a welcome video that shows you around, that gives you a tour, that tells you how to manage your account. So if you're ever like, okay, I want to leave because you can cancel anytime, I show you how to do that. So you don't even have to feel bad. And then I show you how to do the time audit at the beginning. And then we're getting into decluttering one small space next week just to ease people in to learn the actual method. And then after that, we are starting the kitchen and it's going to be so fun. So come on over, give it a try. You really have nothing to lose. Especially if you sign up for the monthly because you get the first month for free. But if you sign up for annual, especially if you're like, I do want to do my whole house, I'd suggest that because you get 2 months for free. Okay, so alllll, that's why you might like this because so Lindsay, who's here, her master class, and you guys check out her channel, Loving with Intention. I mean, I talk to her every day, like we're best friends. She teaches me so much about relationships, but she has such good stuff on there. And this master class is gold for how to talk to your husband. And you can use many of these things to talk to your kids too. And so if you're wanting to get people in your family on home maintenance, that's some of the stuff that we'll be tackling within the thrive phase of the mighty method, because part of the questions that I ask in the mighty method are what, when, who, or how, and who. So part of it is who's going to do this, because not every system or routine needs to be yours, right? So there's that. Several people I follow have left Facebook for odd platforms, including one that created a custom platform that costs her a lot annually. Exactly. And the thing is, for me, like I wouldn't even mind paying. I mean, I do pay for a different platform that houses my one course, but I don't I just want it to be something that people can check all the time, and they just don't if it's not on Facebook. Elisa, cranberry pear pie. That sounds so good. Peach pie. Oh, yum. I don't think I've had peach pie. I have to be on so many things that I'm unwilling to join new things that I will never check. Totally. Totally. I get it. And that's why I chose Facebook, because this way it just comes to you. And the more active people are in the membership, the better. And I will tag like everyone when I do the weekly video. And like I said, it will be in the guides section. So you just click guides and it's like right there. And you can scroll down and be like, oh, the kitchen section. We're going to go there. Is it okay if we don't want to be full minimalist? You don't have to be minimalist. I don't think no, I want you to just create a home that makes you happy and that you feel healthier with. Strawberry rhubarb. Yes. Apple for texture. Kelsey, you're so funny. Yeah, I agree. The texture of strawberry rhubarb is weird. It's almost better as a crumble because then you can get like that crumble in there. I have a new philosophy. It's if it's in a room that's being decluttered, it's not being used that room, then obviously not needed elsewhere it goes. Yes. Butter cookies, chocolate cake, pies. Yes, pecan pie. Yeah. There may be a tiny bit of food talk in the group. I just love. Um Okay, so Karen, sign up for Facebook. If not, you can cancel it, but sign up, just sign up for a account. It's free and you can just use it to go in there. You don't and you can use a pseudonym and a picture of your cat or your grass or whatever. I'm the same. I find it difficult to give my hubby these jobs to do since he has to go to work every day. Yeah, but at the same time, it's not even necessarily about jobs to do. It's like I said, where we keep our batteries. That's part of the system. That instead of having batteries on the counter randomly catch like at the back of the counter, I have a jar where the batteries go. That's part of the system, part of the routine. So it's not like, oh, everybody's getting all of these jobs. Yay, you just signed up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes. Amelie, the masterclass will be so helpful. Yes. Oh, you will. It is good. I loved it. Yes, and Chris dropped in. She joined the group and then she actually won the free. But yes, she's in the group. I am a much more savory person, so a peanut pie. Shoe fly pie. I have not tried shoe fly pie. I need to. Peanut butter pie. Yum. Yeah, I think being Canadian, maybe we are exposed to shoe fly pie less. Yeah, it's but I am so excited, you guys. This is going to be and if you're like, I don't know, remember, like you can cancel anytime and the first month is free. But I'm telling you, this is going to be so fun. And I can't like I cannot tell you how excited I am about Zoom calls where we can hang out and see each other's faces. And it's not just me. It's so weird being the only one. But we're gonna have tea together or whatever, depending on where you are in the world. Yes, it's so true. It's so much easier to invest in other people, but we need that too. And when you're investing in this, you're investing in your family too. This and my goal is that this helps our families feel more of a team and less frustration, less resentment. And Lindsay's masterclass helps us to communicate with our family more of our needs and saying like, how to ask for help, how to communicate, I'm kind of drowning here, or I'm trying to create some new systems and routines. This is what needs to happen. And maybe your spouse can say, oh, what about this? So you can do it as a team. Like, how nice would that be? I'm a member and I chose to invest in myself. Yay. Oh, it's been so nice to catch up with you guys. And check out Lindsay's channel, Loving with Intention. She just put out one today. I can't wait to see for when your spouse says, relax. My husband, every now, I have going to call him out every now and then because I used to be like, calm down. And he'd be like, relax. And I'd be like, oh, I'm so relaxed now. And I'd be like, calm down. And he'd be like, oh, I'm so calm now. So I can't wait to watch that and see what she has to say because totally get that. Yeah, so come on over, join the Tidy Mighty Club. You got nothing to lose other than clutter. You only will gain. What time of day will most of the meetings be? So there's going to be one Zoom call a month and then a weekly video. And the weekly video, I was going to put it out Mondays, but I think I might change it to Sundays. And then I'm not sure. We're going to do a bit of a poll for when to have the Zoom calls because we've got Europeans and Australians and North Americans. So I'm thinking what I noticed was 2-ish seemed to kind of work for a lot of people, which is weird. I've never done anything at 2, so I might do 2. It definitely won't be Mondays. The first call is this Friday. at 2. So then we will figure it out from there. But like I said, you can cancel anytime. Um, and you can vote on the time. Hey, from Kamloops. Hello, fellow British Columbian Christina. You're late. We're going to leave soon, but that's okay. You can be a secret Facebooker. Just try to join. It's so easy. Literally join Facebook and then ask to join the group. We'll help you. Everybody will help you. Oh, so it is also a Canadian thing. Maybe it's I don't know. I'm Western Canadian. I don't know every food. Saskatoon berry pie, that's one that I think is more Canadian, but shoe fly pie, and it's molasses. Mm, yeah. Christine, I was just saying, join our membership. It's just opened up. It's super duper fun. And there's a discount until Wednesday. Big one, whole month for free, or 2 months if you sign up for the year. And we're going to totally overhaul your whole house and you're going to love it. You are going to love it. So, guys, I don't think there's any more questions. I want to thank you all for being here, taking time out of your week. This will make over your home. This will make over your life. And thank you so much. I hope something great happens for you today. Stay tidy and mighty, and I will see you next time. Bye.